Welcome back to the M25 Time Zone C Paper 2 walkthrough. Today we're going to go over Section A of the paper. Most of the questions are pretty straightforward, but there are a couple questions that will require a bit more thinking, as it should. So, let's get started. Question 1. You're given triangle ABC. AB is equal to 7. AC is equal to 12. The angle BAC is 116 degrees. So, and you're also given a sketch, but I'm just going to quickly sketch it out. 12, 7, 116. A. Find the length of BC. Okay. Two sides and an angle. Right off the bat, we know that we have to use the cosine rule. And now just gotta crunch the numbers. And you'll be at 266.64. Therefore, BC is equal to 16.33 centimeter. You may leave your answer in more than 3 significants. That's totally fine. As long as the first 3 significant figures are correct, you will get full marks. Part B. We now would like to find the angle ACB. There are several ways for us to do this, but the easiest way is to use the sine rule. For that, we're going to look at the side opposite the angle that we're interested in. Using the sine rule, we have sine of C divided by 7 is equal to sine of 116 divided by BC, 16.33. Therefore, sine of C is equal to this expression, and you will get 26.33 degrees. Question 2. Question 2 is on polynomial and factor and remainder theorems. This question has been beaten to death. You have seen this so many times. 2 equations, 2 unknowns, you're good to go. X minus 1 is a factor of fx, so f of 1 is equal to 0. When f of x is divided by x minus 3, the remainder is negative 2. So f of 3 is equal to negative 2. Therefore, 2 minus 6 plus p plus q minus 2 is equal to 0. And 162 minus 162 plus 9p plus 3q minus 2 is equal to minus 2. And you can solve this system however you want. But all in all, you will get p is equal to negative 3 and q is equal to 9. Another easy 5 marks. Question 3. Question 3 is on discrete random variables, and you're given the distribution of a number of times a customer visits the supermarket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for greater or equal to 6. I'm just going to quickly fill out the probability table. Part A. Find the value of A. Okay, so recall that the sum of all of the probabilities have to be equal to 1. And you will find A to be equal to 0.154. 2. writes down the mode of x. So the mode is the value of x for which we have the highest probability. So 2a is equal to 0.308, and that would be the highest probability in the entire table. Therefore, the mode is equal to 2. Part B. Find the mean of x. This seems like a calculator abuse question. So just find e of x, and you will get 1 times 1.5a, 2 times 2a, 3 times 0.281, 4 times a, 5 times 0.026. And you will get 2.436. Part 2. Find the variance of x. You should get 1.1719. Part C. The manager wants to know why customers come to the supermarket. They survey the first 50 customers to arrive at a supermarket on a particular day. Which one of the following best describes the manager's sampling method? Convenience. It is, as its name suggests, it is simply the most convenient way to get data. You don't really care about how representative the data is. Question 4. You're given a circle with center O. You're also given 2 points A and B. The angle is 2.51 radians. And you're also given that the area of triangle AOB is 26 square centimeters. So, and we asked to find the length of arc ACB, of the major arc ACB. So first off, we gotta find the radius. So the area is equal to a half times OA times OB times sine of 2.51 radians. OA is equal to R. OB is equal to R. And this is equal to 26. Solve the equation, you will get R is equal to 9.3846 centimeter. Now we want to find the length of a major arc. To find the length of a major arc, you gotta find the major angle. How do we find the right angle? Recall that the sum of all the angles around a point is 360 degrees, or 2 pi radians. So the right angle over here is 2 pi minus 2.51. And therefore, the length of the arc is L is equal to R theta. R is what we just found. Theta is 2 pi minus what we're given. And you will get 31 or 35.41 centimeter. That's the end of question 4. Question 5. Now we're finally catching some traction. It's finally getting somewhat more challenging. You're given f of x, and you're asked to find the derivative of f. We know that f is the quotient of two functions, so we'll have to use the quotient rule for this. So f prime of x is equal to the derivative of the top times the bottom minus the derivative of the bottom times the top. I'm doing this step by step. You do not have to do this on your exam. You can jump straight to the second line. 3 times 2x plus a squared times 2 do not forget the chain rule over here. Times x plus 5 minus 2x plus a cubed times 2 times x plus 5 divided by x plus 5 to the 4. And we shall see if there's anything we can simplify. Yes, we can. We can simplify 1x minus 1x plus 5. And we can also factor out the 2x plus a. You don't have to do this, but it just makes your life a lot easier. So I'm going to factor out the 2x plus a squared. What's left is 6 times x plus 5. From the second term, we have 2 times 2x plus a. Divided by x plus 5 cubed. So 6x plus 5 minus 2 times 2x plus a. That gives us 2x plus 30 minus 2a divided by x plus 5 cubed. Part B. We are given that when x is equal to 1, the tangent makes an angle of 70 degrees. It is always a good idea to quickly sketch out the question. So let's say you have this function over here, and this is your point x is equal to 1. What they were saying is that this angle over here is 70 degrees. Or, alternatively, you can also have a decreasing function with the draw tangent, and this angle here is 70 degrees. So I'm not entirely sure which scenario the question is referring to. But let's solve this. For either case, we'll first need to find the derivative of the function at x is equal to 1. So that will give us 2 plus a squared times 32 minus 2a divided by 6 cubed. We know that it makes an angle of 70 degrees. That means that f prime of 1 has to be equal to tan of 70 degrees, or f prime of 1 is equal to negative tan of 70 degrees. So tan of 70, that is equal to 2.7474. And from there, we can find the values of a. So this is the perfect time for you to use your calculator, your TZC. You have 3 options here. You get 3 roots. It's either negative 5.69797, 2.72836, or 14.696961. In the second option, you only have 1 root, and that is 16.83629. In the question, they specified that a has to be a positive real number. So the smallest value of a is this guy. I might be missing something, but seriously, This is quite a lot of work for 3 marks. Question 6 is up next. We have 3 vectors, A, B, C. A. Find in terms of P, A dot C. Okay, so dot product. A dot C is equal to -5 times P plus 7 times -6, or -5P minus 42. B dot C is equal to -8 and 9 dot P and -6, and that will give you -8 times P minus 54. In part B, we're given that the angle between A and C is equal to the angle between B and C. So if we would like to quickly illustrate this situation, let's say that's A, that's C, and this is B. We're given that this angle here is equal to that angle there. To solve this question, we'll then go back to the definition of the dot product. So A dot C is equal to the magnitude of A dot the magnitude times the magnitude of C times cos of theta 1. Similarly, B dot C is equal to magnitude of B, magnitude of C, cos of theta 2. The two thetas are equal. Therefore, A dot C divided by mech of A, mech of C is equal to B dot C divided by mech of B and mech of C. This is the same. We can remove it. A dot C, we already found above. Sorry, A dot C. B dot C, we also found above. Magnitude of A, that is the square root of -5 squared plus 7 squared. Magnitude of B, that is -8 squared plus 9 squared. So minus 5P minus 42 divided by a constant, 25, 49, so 74 is equal to 64, 81, that's 145. And from here, you should get P is equal to -112.68 as your final answer. The numbers are a bit ugly. Question 7. This is a very predictable question. It's not news to anyone that the IB loves this kind of question. You are given this guy, and you're forgiven that the term in Exodus 6 in the expansion of this is 5120. Find the value of Q. This is a 6 marker, so pay a lot of attention to the signs. There is usually not a lot of partial credits in these questions. So slow down, take your time, it's gonna be alright. First up, 1 divided by this guy is Q minus x squared to the -1/2. Using the binomial theorem expansion, from your formula booklet, you will get Q to the power -1/2 times 1 minus 1/2 times -x squared divided by Q plus -1/2 times -3/2 divided by 2 factorial -x squared divided by Q squared plus -1/2 -3/2 -5/2 divided by 3 factorial -x squared over Q cubed, and so on. But we stop here because we are only interested in the x to the 6th term. So if we're only looking at the x to the 6th term, the coefficient is therefore q to the power of negative a half times negative 15 divided by 8 divided by 6 times negative x to the 6th divided by q cubed is equal to 5120. Since we're only looking at the coefficient, we don't even have that x to the 6th over there. We only have 1. Therefore, q to the negative 7 by 2 times negative 15 divided by 48 is equal to 5120. Sorry, that should be a positive. 5120 times 48 divided by 15, you get a massive number. So q is equal to this number to the power of negative 2 by 7. And you'll get 1 divided by 16 as your final answer. Take your time and be very, very careful with the pesky negatives. Moving on to question 8. This is a counting question. So, when you see a counting question, you have two options. 1. Panic and cry. Skip and come back later, if at all. You can get 105 for the remaining questions. You're good to go. As long as you get 105, you're guaranteed a 7. 2. If you know a bit about counting, especially for a harder counting question, just write down 1 or 2 expressions that might be enough to get you 1 or 2 marks. Even if you cannot solve it in full, you will still get some credit for the work that you've done. Now, what is this all about? A class of students plays tic-tac-toe competition among themselves. Each individual game in the competition involves only 2 students. Every student in the class is to play every other student twice. However, Stephen left the class after he had played only 7 games. In other words, let's say the class has n students, including Stephen. Stephen only plays 7 of the matches of the games. But all the games amongst the n-1 students were played. How can we translate this? For each game, we'll pick 2 students from the n-1 students that we have. Since every student in the class is to play every other student twice, we gotta multiply this by 2. This would give us the number of matches between n-1 students. Each student plays twice. Plus 7 matches that Stephen actually played. That will give you 513 in total. $253. Okay. How do we deal with this guy? n-1 chooses 2. So this is equal to n minus 1 times n minus 2 divided by 2 is equal to 253. So therefore, n squared minus 3n plus 2 is equal to 506. N squared minus 3n minus 504 is equal to 0. And from here, you should have to solve the quadratic equation. This guy would tell you that n is equal to 24 or n is equal to negative 21. The number of students cannot be negative. Therefore, there were originally 24 students in the class. Last question, question 8, or question 9. Related rates. And I know that a lot of students, myself included, when I was in your shoes, would look straight into section B and skip this question. But calm down. You may be able to get a lot of marks here, even if you don't really know what you're doing. So this is P, this is A, this is B. We know the distance is 2 kilometers. And we are looking at how this angle here is changing over time. We're given that this guy, PG, is 6 kilometers as the airplane was flying 6 kilometers above the ground. Part A. Oh, and we are also given that this part is x. Part A. Show that theta is equal to that expression. How do we find theta? Well, we can treat theta as the big angle minus the small angle. For the big angle, we have tan of GPB is equal to GB over GP. So x plus 2 divided by 6. Therefore, the big angle is equal to arctan of x plus 2 divided by 6. Tan of GPA is equal to GA over GP. So x divided by 6. Therefore, the smaller angle is equal to arctan of x divided by 6. Therefore, theta is the difference of the two. And that gives you the printed results. Done. Part B. When the viewing angle is 0.178 radians, the rate at which the viewing angle is changing, the angle rate, is equal to 12.5 radian per hour. Find the speed of the airplane. The airplane is flying in this direction. As it is flying in that direction, can we see that GA, that this guy is going to be decreasing? So you would expect dx divided by dt to be negative. However, because we're looking at the speed of the airplane, we're just going to take the absolute value of this value. So, speed is dx divided by dt. Theta is a function of x. So even if you don't know anything else, it's always a good idea to differentiate theta. And then we'll see what we can do with it. So differentiating theta, that would give you a rather disgusting expression. What else are we given? Now we need to find a strategy to get this guy. So d theta by dx times dx by dt is equal to d theta by dt. So dx by dt is equal to d theta by dt divided by d theta by dx. D theta by dt, we are already given that. It is 12.5. D theta by dx, then that's going to be this big expression that we have to take care of. In this question, we are considering one specific instance, and it is when theta is equal to 0.178 radians. So if this is the case, we got to find the corresponding values of x first, before we can plug into our expression. That means that we need to solve the equation arctan of x plus 2 divided by 6 minus arctan of x divided by 6 is equal to 0.178. Find the value of x, plug it into our derivative, plug and chuck, there goes your final answer. This is true when x is equal to 4.63017. Put it back into this nested expression, and you will get negative 424.88 kilometers per hour. Therefore, the speed at which the airplane was traveling is 425 kilometers per hour. And that is the end of section A.